business and investment between the various provinces. So it's very important, even though there are a lot of people who consider the legislative body a bit like a rubber stamp, because much of the decision making is already made ahead of time.
Melissa Chan live for us in Beijing. Thank you very much. Well, U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton has condemned the killing of at least 6 female protesters in Côte d'Ivoire. They were taking part in a demonstration calling for President Laurent Gbagbo to step down. Imran Khan has this report.
Dancing, singing, the message is clear. Gbagbo must go. It's a light-hearted demonstration. The women use leaves to symbolically brush away his regime. Then this. These pictures were taken on Thursday and could mark the turning point in the disputed elections of Côte d'Ivoire. 6 women were murdered. You can clearly see camouflage vehicles drive through the crowd. The UN claimed that these were pro-government forces. That's denied by the Gbagbo loyalist army, who said that they were not operating here in Abobo. Many fear that more incidents like this could drag the country into civil war. Kofi Annan, the former UN Secretary General, says Gbagbo must step down.
The pressure is on, and I think if the population sustain their efforts, maintain the pressure for him to go, he eventually will have to go. Other leaders said they weren't going, but they are not around.
The situation has led to widespread panic. On Friday, many rushed to withdraw money from banks. Others are fearful that continued violence could lead to genocide, that thousands could die. Imran Khan, Al Jazeera.
Several people have been injured after protesters clashed with police in Egypt's second biggest city. Hundreds of demonstrators gathered outside the state security building in Alexandria. Some of them later stormed the offices, claiming that the police were trying to get rid of identification documents. Well, this comes as thousands of people gathered in Cairo's Tahrir Square after Friday prayers. They warmly welcomed the newly appointed Prime Minister Essam Sharaf. He urged the demonstrators to do their part to rebuild the country.
I'm here because I get my legitimacy from you. I will exert all my efforts to respond to your demands, and if I fail, I will join you.
The ongoing dispute between Wisconsin's trade unions and the state governor appears to be escalating. Relations have been strained over a budget balancing bill that would strip workers of their collective bargaining rights. And now, Governor Scott Walker has issued dismissal warning notices for state workers. Frank Emspak, the founder and producer of the Workers' Independent News Network, says it is difficult to see how the employees and the politician can reach any agreement.
There have been attempts to discuss things, but they have not reached fruition. And the governor has now said or ordered the Capitol Police or the state police to detain any Democratic senators who enter the state, bring them to the State House willingly or not, and once they enter the state capitol, declare there is a quorum, even if the senators are not in the chamber, and pass the law. The senators, the Democratic senators, have continued to maintain that they will not come to the state of Wisconsin under these circumstances. So it's an impasse, and we do not know what's going to happen. The governor has raised the stakes by claiming that if this budget repair bill, this is a 3-month bill, incidentally, is not passed to lay off state workers. I know that state workers have, or some state agency have printed up layoff notices, but this is the beginning of a longer process because the real budget, the 2-year budget, was also proposed the other day, which has draconian cuts in a whole variety of areas. So lots and lots of people are upset, but it goes beyond a specific budget bill. The unions have already conceded the total amount of money that the governor requested in the so-called budget repair bill. And so from the point of view of money and budget, that's not an issue, and the only thing that's left is the right to bargain, which is what is being taken away here. And not just in sort of, well, you can't do this, you can't do that, but it's done in a subtle way so that the very existence of the unions is at stake because their ability to collect dues and maintain themselves is also basically compromised in the legislation that's proposed.
German officials say the man suspected of shooting dead 2 U.S. Air Force members at Frankfurt Airport on Wednesday could have killed more people if his gun hadn't jammed. 21-year-old Arid Uka has been charged with 2 counts of murder and 3 counts of attempted murder. The magazine in his gun is said to have stalled, preventing another 6 bullets from being fired.
He held the pistol directly in front of the 3rd soldier's head and pulled the trigger twice in order to kill him. But the pistol didn't fire, as 1 bullet casing got stuck in the mechanism of the gun, so this soldier wasn't injured. As the accused realized his gun was no longer working, he escaped, but was followed by the soldier and overpowered and apprehended by both him and federal police officers.
Doubt has been cast over allegations of spying at the French car maker Renault. Renault's chief operating officer, Patrick Pallotta, says the espionage complaint filed in January may have been false. It's thought the company could have been the victim of internal manipulation rather than espionage. 3 executives sacked after the story emerged have been offered back their jobs.
Le directeur général délégué de Renault a eu ce matin.
Renault's delegate director had the dignity to say they may have got it wrong, and if so, they wrongly suspected those 3 executives. So they will be offered reinstatement, and in the event that they do not accept this, they will be given compensation.
More fallout from the crisis in Libya. The head of a prestigious British university steps down for accepting millions in cash donations from the Gaddafis. And lessons in revolt. 5 years after Nepal's civil war, many fear peace has brought little progress.
Welcome back. First, starting in Japan as well as into the Korean Peninsula. We're looking at a fairly nice day on Saturday. That's all going to change, though, as we go into the next couple of days. So we got some weather coming in from China. As you can see here, we're looking at partly cloudy to mostly sunny conditions for most of the region on Saturday. But that, like I said, is going to change. Take a look what's happening as we come with that rain shower activity out of the southwest. That's going to be a big problem, bringing some very heavy rain showers, not only for Japan, but of course across most of China as we go from Saturday as well as into Sunday. Notice how that green area starts to really envelop most of China. We are looking at rainy conditions for Shanghai at 10 degrees there. Hong Kong, partly cloudy conditions, about 23 degrees, but down to the south, we're looking at 31 for Manila with some rain showers in their forecast. Now, rain showers are going to be a big problem across the northern part of Australia as well. Right here, we're going to be seeing in the Northern Territory some flood warnings in effect. That's going to start to move towards Queensland over the next day or so. Brisbane, about 27 degrees. You're going to be warm, but we have a frontal boundary right here. You can see just to the south, Sydney at 21, as well as Melbourne at 23 degrees. And for Christchurch, we do want to take a look at their forecast over the next day. We're looking at some improving conditions for them. We are going to see some rain showers on Sunday. By the time we get to Monday, that should all be out of their forecast for them.
An uprising on the streets, showing no sign of relenting. Protesters united in their defiance of the regime. As demonstrations continue,